Hello, everyone. It is I, CM Freeze, and I'm back from vacation. I was able to go watch some college basketball games. It was a lot of fun, and here I am now making YouTube videos. And a lot has happened in the last week, especially in the NFL with free agency. A lot of teams have signed a lot of players, and I thought to myself, you know what? Now is a great time to do my post free agency NFL mock draft. And I thought, you know what? I'll even include trades on this one because it gets views. That's the main reason why, and it's more realistic to impose trades. Let's get right into this. First overall pick, the Bears just traded away Justin Fields for literally about 2 bags of Cheetos and a cup of pudding, and they don't have a quarterback. It's Caleb Williams. He is the surefire #1 overall pick. No debate on this. It's Caleb Williams. Last year, I know there was a debate. Was it going to be Bryce Young or is it going to be C.J. Stroud? Year before that, was that Trevor Lawrence? The year before that? No, year before that, that was Tavon Walker. That's right, and it should have been Aiden Hutchinson, but no one really knew who was going to get drafted that year, too. So the last 2 years, it's been a debate. This year, no debate at all. We all know it's Caleb Williams. For some reason, there's been a lot of people saying that the Bears shouldn't draft Caleb Williams, or Caleb Williams shouldn't go to the Bears. It's all smoke, and it's just clicks. Caleb Williams is clearly the best player in the draft. He won the Heisman this year. This year he looked great and he dropped 40 points every single game, but USC's defense was dog water, so he lost about 5 games because his defense allowed 50 points. He didn't really have the best weapons to throw to. He's able to make athletic plays that no other quarterback in this draft class can make. He's great. Yeah, people complain about his off-field issues. Oh, he paints his nails. He wore a dress. Who gives 2 shits? Tyreek Hill every single week is getting new police charges against him. Do you see anyone complaining that Tyreek Hill is on the Dolphins? I don't. You got a $30 million contract. Dude's in a new legal battle every single year. I hate this whole off-field battle things. The best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, has a brother who I'm pretty sure just got locked up for something. I don't know if he went to jail, but he just got in trouble. His dad's in jail, and everyone hates his wife as well. The best quarterback in the league has one of the most dysfunctional families, and I don't hear anyone complaining about that. So I don't know why people are hating on Caleb Williams for his family, for his dad, and for his choices that he makes outside of football when some of the best players in football all have baggage. I honestly think it's just for clicks and people just want to seem smart and hate on Caleb Williams for something. I know I just went a little rant there. I don't want to make a full video on it. Maybe I will, but it's just so stupid, the hate that Caleb Williams is getting. Absolutely insane. It's some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen people complain or make fun of a quarterback for, say he's not going to do good because of his father. Whatever. #2, Washington. I think that this is going to be Drake May. Just like the Bears, they just traded away Sam Howell and they signed Marcus Mariota to a 1-year contract. He's clearly a bridge QB. I think they're going to want to draft a quarterback to sit for a year. Drake May makes perfect sense. This could be Jayden Daniels. I've seen a lot of people saying that Jayden Daniels is going to be 2 now over Drake May, and I don't personally see that. I still think Drake May is here at 2. A lot of the times now we're getting closer to the draft, people will constantly move up and down boards. Drake May as a prospect I think is better than Jayden Daniels. Drake May has had a lot less talent than Jayden Daniels has had, and he still puts up really good numbers. And if you watch the film, Drake May makes some phenomenal plays. And you can't question that his desire to win. You can't question his arm. Sometimes he's a little bit inaccurate, but name me a quarterback that isn't sometimes inaccurate. It's not bad enough to the point where you're like, oh crap, we need to work this out. And I think it would be great for Drake May to sit. Now, sitting a year behind Marcus Mariota might be questionable. The fact that Desmond Ridder sat a year behind Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder is shit. But who knows? Maybe Dan Quinn really knows what he's doing there in Washington. Now, pick 3 at New England here. I think this is going to be Jayden Daniels. I 100% think of Jayden Daniels is here at 3. New England takes him. But this morning on the radio, I was listening to the Dan Patrick Show, and Mr. Patrick himself was talking about how he really thinks the Minnesota Vikings are going to trade up to 3 to draft Jayden Daniels, and that the New England Patriots need to trade down because their team's so bad. So for this mock draft, just for fun, why not? I'm going to have the Minnesota Vikings trade up to 3. The Minnesota Vikings acquired pick 23 from the Texans. They could clearly be using that as ammunition. They don't have a second round pick next year. We'll do something like this. Will this even work? Perfect. The trade has been accepted. The trade details don't really matter. It would be pick 11 and pick 23 that is important for this. Minnesota Vikings just lost Kirk Cousins. They desperately need a quarterback now. Who do they sign? Sam Darnold. Yeah, if you want to re-sign Justin Jefferson, you need a quarterback. Just no way in hell Justin Jefferson is coming back to the Minnesota Vikings with Sam Darnold as his QB. Vikings need to go get a quarterback that is actually going to make Justin Jefferson happy to stay there. And I think Jaden Daniels is the guy. If Jaden Daniels does go 2 and Drake May's 3, I think Drake May gets taken 3rd overall. The first 3 picks will be Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels, and I will not believe anything else, no matter what anyone says, until I actually see it happen on draft day. The only other person that could maybe even potentially get into the top 3 is Marvin Harrison Jr., and I still don't think that's going to happen at 3. I'm going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. going to 4 here in Arizona. Cardinals don't have a wide receiver right now. They let Hollywood Brown walk for some reason, and then they traded away Rondell Moore to the Falcons for Desmond Ridder. I'm honestly trying to think of, I think the Cardinals have, what is it, Marco Wilson? It's either Marco Wilson or Michael Wilson, 3rd round rookie last year, 3rd or 4th round rookie, and he played pretty good for him. They might have another wide receiver that I can name. I honestly don't know. The Cardinals might have the worst wide receiver group in the NFL right now, and they haven't signed any free agents to try to fix that, at least any noticeable ones. I think it's very clear that the Cardinals are going wide receiver here. No shot that they do anything else. At pick 4 here, it will be Marvin Harrison Jr., generational wide receiver prospect. We all know his name. Everyone that's watching this video knows exactly who Marvin Harrison Jr. is. And he will be the number 1 not quarterback taken off the board. Marvin Harrison Jr., generational talent, can do things that many wide receivers cannot able to do. Phenomenal with the ball in the air, elite speed, tall as shit. Marvin Harrison Jr. is everything you want in a wide receiver. He's got the exact build as a wide receiver, and he's got the traits that you want in a wide receiver. Chargers here at 5. I've been drafting them Joe Alt, and I still really do think that this is going to be Joe Alt, but they traded Keenan Allen for a 4th round pick to the Bears, and then let Mike Williams walk, and they haven't signed a wide receiver. Joe Alt makes so much sense here for the Chargers, but they literally do not have a wide receiver right now at all. Just straight up don't. And I honestly think that this is going to be Rome Odunze here for the Chargers. I think Malik Nabers is the better prospect, but it's honestly, what do you want? Rome Odunze is a true number 1 wide receiver, and Malik Nabers is a slot wide receiver. So what do you want? Do you want a number 1, or do you want a slot wide receiver? The Chargers have nobody. If you sit here and tell me that Quentin Johnson is someone who you really think to take the next step up, why? I understand that Quentin Johnson is a bigger body wide receiver, but Chargers just need a wide receiver. You could give him Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers. They need a slot guy, and they need a number 1 guy. Quentin Johnson is not a number 1 wide receiver. Josh Palmer is not a number 1 wide receiver. And for Jim Harbaugh, he saw Rome Odunze. He played against Rome Odunze in the Natty. He knows just how good Rome Odunze is. And this could be either Rome Odunze. This could be either Malik Nabers. It could be either one of them. And honestly, at pick 6, I think it's the wide receiver that isn't taken at pick 5 is going at pick 6 to the New York Giants. There's been a lot of talk recently that the New York Giants are going to draft J.J. McCarthy at 6. I think it's all smoke. Honestly, I think the Giants probably are going to trade out of this pick if Malik Nabers isn't there. Or Rome Odunze. I really don't know what the Giants' draft plan is. I honestly, truly do think that they probably want to trade down to a team. They're trying to hype up J.J. McCarthy so that a team will give them a huge draft haul for J.J. McCarthy, and I just don't see that happening, personally. Who knows? The Minnesota Vikings already traded up. And I think the only teams that would potentially trade up would be the Vikings or maybe even the Broncos. But I don't see the Broncos trading up here, especially when the Broncos are in rebuild mode. If you're in rebuild mode and you think you're going to suck next year, why would you trade away your first or second round pick next year to trade it to pick 6 for JJ McCarthy? Who knows what the Broncos are going to do at quarterback? Hell, JJ McCarthy might even fall to them in this mock draft. I'm ass at winking. Giants get a really good wide receiver in Malik Nabers. You are happy with all 3 of these wide receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr. is just a freak generational, and you do not say that word lightly. Generational wide receiver prospect. He's like Marvin Harrison Jr. is like I want to say 10 out of 10 prospect. 10 out of 10 is super high, so I'll give like a 9.8 out of 10 prospect. And then Rome Odunze and Malik Nabers are both 8.5 out of 10 prospects. 8.5 to 9, both really damn good. Just a little bit under generational, which Marvin Harrison Jr. is. All 3 of these guys will be very successful in the NFL. Titans in 7. Joe Alt has fallen to them in the draft, and I think they're going to be ecstatic with that. Tennessee Titans, they went out and they got Calvin Ridley. They got Tony Pollard, which, Tennessee Titans have been doing a lot of moves in free agency. One thing they haven't done, though, is address offensive line, which I think they are going to do in the draft here with either Joe Alt or Fole Ishanu. It did come out during the combine that Fole Ishanu was dealing with some injuries. I think it was a leg injury, an ankle injury, which kind of sidelined him for the combine. Joe Alt has no medical histories. I don't think Fole Ishanu is going to fall a ton because of this, but it is something to point out, and I do think that will make Joe Alt the clear number 1 left tackle prospect. Fole Ishanu could still go here. I'm not saying he's not. Just, I am going to take that ankle injury into account, because do you really want to draft a guy that... Joe Alt's fully healthy. It's nothing serious at all, but I'm just going to draft him Joe Alt here. They need a tackle help. They need tackle help bad if you want to protect a male boy there at 7. Falcons at 8. I saw this tweet today, stupidest tweet in the world, and I can't believe fans fall for this shit when people on Twitter say, oh, my sources tell me. I saw this tweet that had like 27 likes, and it was this one guy saying, my sources tell me that the Falcons have 3 edges that they're considering taking at 8, and in order they really like Laiatu Latu, and then it's Dallas Turner, and then it's Jared Verse. And if Laiatu Latu's there at 8, they're going to take Laiatu Latu, unless they switch. It was dumb. And he was saying, oh, my sources tell me this. Dude, no way some random guy on Twitter has the Atlanta Falcons scouts telling him what they're going to do. Do you really think any scout from any team is telling random idiots what the Falcons are going to do? For any team. Do you really think that your scouts are going out and telling their buddies exactly what their friends are going to draft? Maybe like on draft day? I could see that happening. On draft day being like, hey, Falcons are going to draft this guy. Go make a bet on the sports book. I could see that shit happening, but they're not going to do it 50 days prior to. No scouts are telling anybody, especially random people on Twitter, what they're going to do. Now, I could maybe believe like big insiders like Daniel Jeremiah, who actually is in the room and was a scout himself. That I could understand, but random dudes, no way. If you're trusting random people on Twitter, you're an idiot. Falcons here at 9 or at 8, I'm going to give them Dallas Turner. Why am I giving them Dallas Turner? Falcons have gone all in on offense. Kirk Cousins, huge free agency signing. Then they got Darnell Mooney, and they got Rondell Moore. Falcons already have a really good offensive line, really good running backs, really good tight ends. Offensively, the Falcons are set. This could be a wide receiver, but with Rome Odunze and Malik Nabers both off the board, they aren't even tempted. Take an edge. They're going to take the best edge in the class, which I think is Dallas Turner when you factor everything into it. One, he's 21. Both Laiatu Latu and Verse are 23. Those extra 2 years mean a lot because now you're 26 on your second contract instead of 28. And you feel a lot better about 26 than 28. Dallas Turner also has elite traits. The other guys do as well, but Dallas Turner has freakish speed. He's able to set the run. I've said this so many times now. Dallas Turner's phenomenal. Falcons need edge help desperately, and I think that Dallas Turner is going to be their answer. Bears here at 9, I think that they are in a prime position to go with JJ McCarthy. Bears are going to go, I'm going to have them draft Jared Verse here at 9. With the top 3 wide receivers off the board, no Rome Odunze, no Malik Nabers. I believe that this still could be Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers, but with both of them gone, Bears are going to get Jared Verse to pair alongside Montez Sweat. I think that's going to be a really good edge duo there for the Bears. Bears have done a lot in free agency. The only one thing they haven't really addressed is edge. They were able to sign Jalen Johnson to another corner deal. This is way too high for a safety or for a linebacker. So with how the board has fallen, I believe that edge is the best position for the Bears, and Jared Verse is going to be there at 9 for them. Jets at 10. So the New York Jets just went out and got Tyron Smith, left tackle out of Dallas, to a contract. I'm still giving him Foley Ashano here at 10. I could have gone Tuis Fulaga here because he can maybe slide into guard his first year. Jets' offensive line is trash. Aaron Rodgers on 4 plays got pressure on all 4 of them and tore his ACL on the 4th play. They got Tyron Smith, who again is also injury prone himself. He could be hurt this entire year. He hasn't had a season where he's played in every single game and who knows how long. Jets just need offensive line help. Get the best offensive lineman on the board. If Smith does play, perfect. Slide Foley Ashano over to right tackle or left guard for a season. He's that good of a prospect. He didn't allow any sacks this entire year at Penn State. Phenomenal pass rusher. Pass blocker. Jets get arguably the best pass blocker in the class. Here we are at pick 11. Very first Patriots pick since trading down with the Minnesota Vikings. So they get 2 picks here. Patriots can do literally anything they want. Patriots can go anywhere. And JJ McCarthy is an offer here for the Patriots, but I'm not going to take that here at 11. At pick 11 here, I am going to give the Patriots Laiatu Latu. Phenomenal edge rusher out of UCLA. The Patriots already have, who's their really good edge rusher? I'm blanking up. Matthew Judon. Patriots already have Matthew Judon. They can slide another edge rusher over to play alongside him. Matthew Judon also is older. He's not getting any younger. Patriots need help. They could literally go anywhere. They need help on the offensive line. Is probably their best position. I could have drafted them a quarterback here at 11. I could have done JJ McCarthy, but I just think I just don't like the fit with JJ McCarthy in New England. Also, I want to give JJ McCarthy to the Broncos at 12, so sue me. But Laiatu Latu, really good edge rusher. Patriots need help literally all over the place. Their defense is already really good, but with the top 3 wide receivers off the board, and with them signing, they're not going to take a tight end. They signed Hunter Henry to a new contract. I believe they picked up another tight end as well. I forget who. Patriots don't need a tight end. Offensive line's good. Really here, this would be wide receiver. But with all the wide receivers off the board, I think they just go best player available and get Laiatu Latu. This could also be Terrion Arnold as well. But Denver Broncos here at 12. This is where JJ McCarthy is going to go. Broncos don't have a quarterback. They have Jared Stidham right now. It's very obvious the Broncos are tanking. They traded away Cortland Sutton. Justin Simmons was just cut. They haven't really made any free agency signings. They've signed cheap guys, but they haven't really gotten a big player. It's very obvious that the Denver Broncos are tanking this year, and JJ McCarthy, 4th best quarterback in this draft class, has fallen to them. They can either have him start, they can have him sit, they can sign a veteran guy. Broncos have a lot of options here, but there were a lot of quarterbacks that the Broncos could have traded for. Look at all these backups that got traded away. Mac Jones, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields. Broncos could have had any of those guys and traded away a 4th round pick for Fields, but they didn't. And I think that they clearly have their mind made up on someone in the draft. And I think that guy is JJ McCarthy out of Michigan. Raiders here at 13. I'm going to be giving them Terrion Arnold. This is one of my favorite fits in the draft class. I just love Terrion Arnold to the Raiders. He feels like such a Raiders player. Raiders this offseason, they just signed Gardner Minshew, so he will compete with AOC. They lost Josh Jacobs. I don't know who they signed at running back, actually. Oh, they're letting Zeus, that's right, Zamir White, be running back 1. So we'll see how that goes. Wide receivers, they still have Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams. Both of them did really well last year. They also have that one guy I think it's out of Cincinnati. I know they have a rookie as well, Michael Mayer, that they drafted last year in the 2nd round. The offense, I think, is fine for the Raiders. Their defense needs some help. They got Christian Wilkins, one of the better free agency signings that will help on that defensive line. Their secondary is their biggest position of need right now, and Terrion Arnold, I think, will be the number 1 corner taken off the board. Really damn good corner out of Alabama. He plays big. He's a true number 1 wide receiver. This year, everyone avoided throwing to Kool-Aid McKinstry, so they threw to him, and he proved why he's a lockdown guy. True lockdown #1 corner here from Terrion Arnold, and he's really going to help out the Raiders. Saints at 14. This can literally be so many things. Saints can do so many things here. And I think what I'm going to end up doing for the Saints is give them Tulis Fuagu out of Oregon State. Saints can do so much here. So much here. They need help all over the place. They have no cap. Literally no cap. So they haven't signed any free agents. Saints need help at left tackle. And I just think Tulis Fuagu is the best player available right here. He can play left tackle, but he can also slide to guard. Saints can really do what they want with him. Right side of their offensive line is pretty good with Ryan Ramczyk and Cesar Ruiz. I know they have a good center too, but they really need help on the left side of the offensive line. That's who Fuagu comes in. He can immediately start for them at left tackle or left guard and just help out the Saints. 15 for the Colts. I keep on seeing this being Brock Bowers. I think everyone has this as Brock Bowers, but I'm actually going to go with Quinyon Mitchell here out of Toledo. The Colts lost Stephon Gilmore last year, and they haven't really recovered from that. Colts are a team where I watched their defense kind of get carved up. Their offense actually really good. Phenomenal offensive line. They have good weapons in Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce. Quarterback, they have Anthony Richardson developing still, so offensively I don't really think you have to worry too much. They could go Brock Bowers, but I also really like Mo Alie-Cox there in Indianapolis. I see everyone doing Brock Bowers. I'm going to change it up a little bit. They need help in the secondary. I watched their secondary get eaten alive a lot this year. A lot of games, the Colts were in high-scoring games, and their defense just couldn't compete. Their defensive line's pretty good. They still have DeForest Buckner there, Kwity Paye, some really good defensive linemen. This is too early, I believe, for a linebacker, so I'm just going to give him the best possible corner in Quinyon Mitchell. Seattle Seahawks at 16. This could be a perfect trade down spot. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with the New England Patriots. I'm going to have them be in another trade here with the Seattle Seahawks, and we're going to have the Patriots trade up to 16 to draft Brian Thomas Jr. here. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is clearly wide receiver 4. There are plenty of good wide receivers in this draft class. Adrian Mitchell, Keon Coleman, Troy Franklin, Ladd McConkey. Obviously, Xavier Worthy just broke the 20-yard dash record. Xavier Ligety. So many good wide receivers in this class, but I think that Brian Thomas Jr. is clearly wide receiver 4. You got your 3 guys that are in the top upper echelons, and then Brian Thomas Jr. I think is a really good option as well. In a couple of other draft classes, he would be 2nd or 3rd wide receiver taken off the board. He's just 4th here because of the upper echelon talent above him, but Brian Thomas Jr. is really fast, tall, and do a lot of things well. And if you're the Patriots, I think you're going to want to jump teams like the Jaguars or the Bengals, Dolphins, who want a wide receiver, and just go get a true #1 wide receiver or whoever you have at quarterback this year. And Jacksonville here at 17, they could have been a team that took Brian Thomas Jr. here. They're probably upset that they just missed out on a really good wide receiver prospect, which makes me believe that Jacksonville, they could do a lot of things here, and I think offensive line is one of them. So I'm going to give them J.C. Latham here out of Alabama. They need a left tackle. Their offensive line was really damn bad last year. They haven't really done that much to address it except re-sign the guys that were really bad. Interesting choice by the Jaguars, but Trevor Lawrence is going to be really happy that now J.C. Latham can protect him on either the right or left side. Either or for Jacksonville, which at 18, this is probably my draft crush. I really hope that Brock Bowers goes to Cincinnati. I really hope he does. Get Joe Burrow, a freak tight end prospect like Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is probably going a lot sooner than this. Brock Bowers is probably going a lot sooner than 18. Just it's so hard to place him. Is he really going to go at 5 to the Chargers? I don't think so. I know they just signed someone. It was maybe Hayden Hurst, or they just got a tight end. You know, they could go at 10 to the Jets. I think that's a possibility. It's so hard to place where Brock Bowers is going to go. He could be the hardest guy to place where he's going to go in the entire first round of this draft class. I really hope he falls to Cincinnati at 18, or they trade up for him. I think that would be phenomenal. Get Joe Burrow another guy to throw to. Tyler Boyd's gone. T. Higgins has requested a trade. Joe Burrow needs help. Brock Bowers is also really good at blocking as well. So he can both block and catch the ball. So he can help Joe Burrow both in the passing game and the blocking game. I just love this fit for Cincinnati. I really hope Brock Bowers somehow finds his way to the Bengals here at 18. And for the Los Angeles Rams here at 19, I am going to have the Dallas Cowboys trade up to draft Amarius Mims here. The Dallas Cowboys just lost Tyrone Smith in free agency, and they need help on the offensive line now. And Amarius Mims can instantly come in and be the starting left tackle for Dallas Cowboys. I believe that Amarius Mims, very good prospect, but we've only seen him in a handful of games. He doesn't have that many true game films on him. But for the Dallas Cowboys, who now have a gaping need at left tackle, they're going to want to protect Dak Prescott. They're going to want to protect whoever the hell they have running the ball. Who knows? I don't know what the Cowboys are doing at running back. I guess they've just given up on the position for some reason. But if they're giving up on running back and say, hey, we can have any guy in the backfield that we want as long as we have a good offensive line, you got to go get a left tackle. They're going to trade up and get Amarius Mims here, which leaves the Steelers at 20 to do a lot of things. And one of those things that I'm going to have the Steelers do is I'm going to have the Steelers drafting Nate Wiggins here at pick 20. Steelers got Joey Porter Jr. last season. They still have Minkah Fitzpatrick. But putting Nate Wiggins on the other side of Joey Porter Jr. is going to be phenomenal for the Steelers. I believe that they had Patrick Peterson and just cut him. So the Steelers really need a good corner. Nate Wiggins and Joey Porter Jr. could be a really good 1-2 punch for the Steelers for a very long time to come. Offensively, I know they've been doing stuff. This could be wide receiver here. It's very easily could be wide receiver. But with a player like Nate Wiggins still available, big corner out of Clemson, plays like a true number one, he'll pair really well with Joey Porter Jr. And Dolphins here at 21, I'm going to go with Jackson Powers Johnson here, center out of Oregon. Dolphins need a center. Jackson Powers Johnson is a center. I know that the Dolphins signed a really bad center. They gave him a contract, but I believe it was only a 1 to 2 year deal. So just give him Jackson Powers Johnson, and he can immediately come in and be a starting center for Miami. Philadelphia Eagles here at 22. Philadelphia Eagles have done a lot of interesting things. They upgraded at the quarterback position by getting Kenny Pickett. Huge upgrade over Jalen Hurts. Philadelphia Eagles still desperately need corner, but I really like giving the Philadelphia Eagles Cooper DeJean here. They also lost Kevin Byard in free agency. Cooper DeJean, I think, would be such a good fit in Philadelphia because he can either play corner for him, he can play safety for him. Eagles can really have their way with one of the better players in this draft class. Cooper DeJean is a phenomenal player out of Iowa, and the Philadelphia Eagles can do what they want with him. They can develop him how they want. They need secondary help desperately, and I think Cooper DeJean would be an instant starter on that Philadelphia Eagles defense. The Seattle Seahawks here at 23, they get to draft the player that they probably could have drafted at 16, Brian Murphy. Brian Murphy has fallen on this draft board. I think Brian Murphy could easily go before this, just with how the board is paired. He probably could go here at 20. I could see him going here at 21, because now the Dolphins don't have a nose tackle anymore with Christian Watkins dropping. I went elsewhere in this mock draft. Brian Murphy falls to the Seattle Seahawks here at 23. I love the fit for him. Yes, they brought back Leonard Williams, but now imagine Leonard Williams and Brian Murphy on the interior defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. That is some scary stuff. Los Angeles Rams here at 21. I'm going to give them Johnny Newton. They just lost Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald retired in free agency. You are not going to be able to replicate that talent, but now they do have a massive hole at the nose tackle position on the defensive line, and that's where Johnny Newton comes in. Really good at Johnny Newton is someone who got a lot of pressure in Illinois, a lot of sacks in Illinois, someone who is great at getting interior pressure, very physical, power rush kind of D-tackle. Johnny Newton can instantly come in and start for the Rams now that Aaron Donald is gone. Green Bay Packers at 25. We know that this will be anything but a wide receiver. Green Bay Packers can do a lot of things here. They need help. Their defense was really bad. I know the Packers got Josh Jacobs and then cut Aaron Jones. They also were able to get Xavier McKinney, and those are kind of their big free agency signings. Their secondary, yes, they have Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander gets hurt all the damn time. I rarely ever see Jair Alexander. It feels like he's missed the entire season, the last 2 seasons. Green Bay Packers can desperately use corner help, and that is why I am going to give them Kool-Aid McKinstry here. I think McKinstry will be a first-round corner. Now, I think some of these other guys will go ahead of him, probably like Nate Wiggins, Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, but Kool-Aid McKinstry still a really good corner. Really good corner. And I like the fit in Green Bay. You can come in and sit behind or be the opposite side of Jair Alexander whenever Jair is healthy. When he's not healthy, he can step up and be a number 1 wide receiver. And I'm really excited for that Jair Alexander and Kool-Aid McKinstry 1-2 combo in Green Bay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 26. I feel like this is going to be defense. And with Chop Robinson here, that is what I'm going to do. Chop Robinson, really good edge rusher out of Penn State. He was someone that was getting top 10 hype for a while there, but he's just kind of fallen down draft boards. I still think he'll be a first-round pick. I don't think he's getting past. This is probably where, for sure, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that I don't think he's going to get past either the Lions or the 49ers or Baltimore Ravens. I don't think he's escaping this combo right here. I don't think one of these last 4 picks could very easily be him. But I'm going to have Chop Robinson go before that at 26 to the Buccaneers. They cut Shaquille Barrett. They need help on edge. Chop Robinson is someone that can sit or be a rotational guy early in his career, get some pro reps, and then he could be someone that, if developed properly, could be a really good edge rusher. Cardinals at 27, we already gave them Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, this wide receiver core is ass. It is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And could the Cardinals double dip at wide receiver? I don't hate it. I don't hate the double dipping at wide receiver. I honestly do not. They also do have an early 2nd round pick. And with some of these top offensive guys still on the board, Cardinals, they were able to get, they got Paris Johnson Jr. last year. He played right tackle. They just signed Jonah Williams to be their left tackle. They need help on the interior offensive line, and that is why I'm going to give them I also really like I'm going to give him Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. He's someone that can slide in and play guard, which I believe he will do if he goes to the Cardinals. I like the Arizona fit. What can I say? I'm a sucker for keeping people in state. Cardinals get Jordan Morgan. Yes, I realize that Troy Furtado and Tyler Guyton are still here, but these guys profile more as a tackle. Jordan Morgan is someone that can come in and play guard for the Cardinals, which if they were to draft an offensive lineman here, which I believe that they could, I'm going to go with Jordan Morgan. Buffalo at 28, they need wide receiver. I think they're very happy with how the board has fallen to them. Stephon Diggs is acting like he's getting traded on Twitter. I don't really know what's even going on with him. And with how this board is, I'm going to give the Buffalo Bills Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. Really good wide receiver. He's tall. He's got typical wide receiver size. I really like Adonai Mitchell. Keon Coleman's more of like a jump ball, get it kind of guy. Adonai Mitchell, he just is able to do more. He's a more well-rounded wide receiver than just being he's a jack of all trade guy instead of just being a master of one like Keon Coleman is. Detroit Lions here at 29. Detroit can do a lot of things with this pick. I think that this needs to be defense, or it doesn't necessarily need to be defense, but the Giants need help defensively. And something that I really like for them would be this guy out of Georgia. I still yet to learn how to pronounce his name. I know exactly who he is. I'm a Falcons and a Bulldogs fan. I've watched him play the last 3 years. I know who he is. I can't pronounce his name for shit. I can't. Leicester? Carmi Leicester? You just probably clicked off the video if you're still even here. Lions need help defensively bad. Their offense is one of the best in the league. They need defensive help. They can go best player available because they need help on the defensive line and the secondary. And that's why I'm going to go with the best defensive player I think possible for them. This could also be Leonard Taylor as well. I would not hate that pick. Though I do know that they just signed a really good D tackle. I forgot who, but I do know that the Lions just signed a really good... I actually sent a message to my Detroit Lions friend about it. Who was it? DJ Reader. They signed DJ Reader. He will pair up very nicely with Aiden Hutchinson. Leister can slot in and be a good starting corner for the Detroit Lions. Ravens here at 30. Ravens can do a lot of things. Ravens can do a lot of things here. And with how the board has fallen, I think I'm gonna give the Ravens Troy Fautanu here out of Washington. Ravens are just such a well-rounded team. They might be, on paper, they are definitely a top 3 team in the league. Ravens, 49ers, and Chiefs. I mean, they were the top 3 teams last year. Again, I think that's the same thing. Ravens can honestly go anything. It does not help to have more offensive line depth and more offensive line help, and that's why I'm going to give them Troy Fautanu here. Their defense is so stacked, and their offense is so good as well. But you need 5 offensive linemen. Doesn't help to have more offensive line depth. And the San Francisco 49ers here at 31, I am going to give them Tyler Guyton. He can actually come in. The 49ers, Trenton Williams isn't going to last forever. And they also need help on the right side as well. Tyler Guyton can come in. He could be a starting right tackle for the 49ers. And then whenever Trenton Williams retires, he can slide over to the left. Or maybe he develops really well as a right tackle and you don't want to leave him there. Or you don't want to take him out of that right tackle position, which leaves the Chiefs at 32 for Keon Coleman. I love Keon Coleman to the Chiefs because the Chiefs just signed Hollywood Brown. They still have Rashid Rice. Now Keon Coleman can be their big, go up and get it, jump ball wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So go out and give him some even more help. Patrick Mahomes will be very happy with you, and you can honestly three-peat with that offense. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. As a mock draft, that's exactly what it is, a mock draft. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. This is what I believe could very easily happen. There's some picks in here that I definitely could take back. Like, I could have given Malik Neighbors to the Chargers here. Brock Bowers, I think, fell. Byron Murphy fell. But there's always going to be a player that falls. 1 or 2 players. Every year there's a player that falls. It's almost impossible to predict who it's going to be. This is the mock draft I came up with. Let me know in the comments what you like, what you dislike, and peace.